We were talking about the Red Sox earlier in the show. Tough loss last night, but they play 162 of them. Are you of the opinion if they hang around 500, game or two over 500 like they are now, this division, not to get too worried, this division is infinitely winnable, and all it takes is to get hot for a little while to get in, to win this thing?
Yeah, because I feel like they're kind of an underachieving team, honestly, at this point. But you've made it through April, right? You've hovered around. It was a tough schedule at the beginning. They played 30. If you look, they played more games than anybody. They hardly any days off. So you kind of get through all that. They haven't had a ton of home games. I mean, there's a lot of reason to believe the schedule will get easier. And so you kind of survived, I think, your worst baseball. There's a couple of we said this on a post-game show last night. There's a couple of reasons I think you feel better about this team. A, the pitching is getting better. Giolito was good last night until the very end. You just got Bayo back. Cutter Crawford is still a ways away, but he's on his way back. And then you've got Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer in Worcester. I mean, they're, J.P. Ricciardi, who used to be the GM in Toronto and does stuff for us in Worcester. He said he had a great line. He's like, you go to the grocery store and you see those rotisserie chickens and, some are ready, some aren't. He goes, they're done. They're baked. They're ready to go. They just don't have a spot for them. But they'll be here at some point. So you didn't feel that last year. You didn't feel like, this team's going to be better in June, July than it is now. And I think that's the case with this team.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you have two, huge talents sitting there waiting to come up. And especially Roman Anthony. And so, you go, all right, I got to fit these kids in. It's time. And they do have to play in the majors this year. I mean, they do for their own sakes.
Yeah, you're not bringing them up to sit the bench. You got to have them find a way to play them.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they're in. It's because they got to play. And so, so how do you feel that they fit in? That will be an interesting storyline as the season progresses.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, right now there's no place. They got a good outfield. Abreu's been terrific for this team. He's one of the best hitters in baseball right now. Duran is back to being himself, and you can see what he did. Rafaela has been a little bit of a disappointment at the plate. You've seen him come to life a little bit here in the last week or so, but he's really good defensively. So, right now it's one of those you sort of just wait. Things happen. Guys do get hurt. You don't make it through a season without injuries. A little bit tougher for Meyer because he's a middle infielder.
Yeah.
Story's your guy. You're paying him for a while. Christian Campbell, he's the rookie of the year right now, and it's not even close. So there isn't a place for them. It isn't easy. It's kind of an ill-fitting roster. It's why you haven't seen Yoshida at all because they can't DH him because Devers is here. So you got, we said this in spring training. It's a team with a lot of talent. It's just kind of a little bit ill-fitting right now, especially as far as bringing those two guys up.
All right, so here's the question. If I'm sitting there and I need help somewhere where they don't fit in. Say I feel that we're in contention that we could win a World Series, and I can get a guy who's not on the last year of his contract. I can get a starting pitcher. I can get something that we need, that with a couple years left on his deal, I can get a star. Do you consider, now that those kids are ready to go, do you consider moving one of them for an established major league star with term?
Yeah, I think if everybody is healthy through this entire summer, as you get near the trade deadline, that's going to have to be something Breslow thinks about. And the good thing is you've got good players at the major league level who are young. So you've got guys, you always need pitching. If you can go get, as you said, a real stud pitcher to join Crochet and to join Buehler at the top of the rotation, you may have to trade. It wouldn't have shocked anybody at spring training if they moved Abreu to make room for Anthony. You're glad you didn't now because Abreu, like I said, he's on a tear. But I could see a trade that's a little bit shocking if you get to that because, again, you can't leave. They're both like 900 OPS guys in Worcester. Meyer's already got 7 home runs. Anthony has 5. At some point, you're going to have to give – now, there's been a lot of talk. Will one of them try to play first base because Costas has really struggled? So that would be a place, but neither one of them. And the people in Worcester tell me there's no plans for either of them to play any first base.
That would be a waste, right? Like if you,
Yeah, well, especially with Meyer. Like Anthony, I could see a little bit, but Meyer, I'm telling you, you watch him play defense at shortstop, he is so smooth. Meyer's going to be a player.
Well, that was part of the reason.
Anthony's ready now, but Meyer's something special because he's so good defensively.
Well, that was part of the reason that he was considered the best prospect in that draft, right? It was his defensive ability, that he's a great athlete. So, yeah,
really smooth defenders at shortstop, and those are hard to find.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, Tom, we've talked a lot of positives about the Red Sox, and all of this is correct. All of these things that you are saying about the team, they're great to watch. What is the thing holding them back? Why are they only 2 games over 500?
Well, you know what? I scratched my head. We had it up on the air last night, and I honestly looked twice before I comment. I was like, do we have this graphic right? The ERA is higher than it was at this point last year, both for the rotation and the bullpen. And that shocked me. I didn't see that. When I watched this team over the last month, I thought the pitching was better. So I think what's holding him back was the pitching at the beginning. And again, you were cobbling it together. You had Newcomb making starts. You had guys make. Houck has been an enigma, and he goes tonight. Houck's going to have to figure it out. You know, prior to last year, Tanner Houck was the guy. He said, "I'm not sure he's a starting pitcher. He's always struggled. Definitely third time through a lineup, and sometimes the second time through a lineup." The other night against Cleveland, he was real bad in the first inning. He got it figured out and went 5. But the ERA's at 7 right now, and it hasn't. The ERA's up around 5 since the spring training, since the All-Star break of last year. So he had a really good year last year, but it was mostly the first half. You know, he's a sweeper guy. He's a big horizontal movement guy. You wonder if the book gets out, and if hitters aren't chasing that thing outside, you got to come in the strike zone, and they can make you pay. So Houck is part of the issue. He's got to figure it out, especially with the other guys coming back. Giolito's here. Crawford's on the way, as we said. So that's a big part of the problem, and they still got to clean up the defense. They 28 errors is more than they had at this point last year, and they led the league in errors last year. So you got to be a little better defensively. I think they are better defensively. If you go to the higher metrics, they're making way more plays than they did last year. They're up near the top in double plays. So there's a lot good there defensively, but they still make they have the brain fart every now and again, and they just throw one away. That's got to stop, and Houck's going to have to be better. Those two things happen, then you're back where you want to be.
And what is going on with the rest of the AL East? What is your opinion on Baltimore and their struggles?
Baltimore is the team I'm shocked at. They really had a bad offseason. You know, the Garrett Crochet deal is the deal they needed to go make. Yeah. They lost Corbin Burns. They had prospect capital. They didn't do anything with it, and they didn't spend any money. And so that's the one that's hard to figure out why they didn't do more. Toronto, I'm shocked they're not scoring runs. You know, when they signed Guerrero, I was like, all right, this is the window of opportunity. They just extended it, and they've been awful at the plate. And Tampa Bay I thought was going to struggle this year because they're playing outside, and it's just a whole different vibe for them playing in a minor league ballpark. Yankees are good. I mean, they without Garrett Cole, they won't pitch as well, but they're going to bash their way to a lot of wins. But it's hard to bet. We don't the Sox. We won't see the Sox play the Yankees till June 6th, so still over a month. But this is shaping up like a 2-horse race early on, and Sox, they're going to have to make a move or two just to stay there. But the AL East that you said at the beginning, it's so winnable. You can't miss this opportunity.
Yeah, I mean the AL is not so great. So as a whole. So all right, look, Tom, Caron, love having you on. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Everyone, check them out on NESN, all the Red Sox broadcasts. We appreciate it. Have a great one.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Tom.
All right, appreciate it. There you go.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Red Sox analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.